What is survivor bias? So survivor bias is a bias we have to be very careful about as cancer patients, and in the context of cancer, survivor bias is that we hear a lot about the success stories, and we don't hear enough about the cases where a treatment was unsuccessful. And there are many forms of survivor bias. Some are quite subtle. If something's posted on social media, well, social media users skew young. There are older people using social media, but the vast majority are younger. So the very fact that a treatment is being posted about on social media may suggest a slightly younger patient. Now, I use the word slightly, but it could be enough to make quite a difference in the reality of who can benefit from that treatment and who can't. So we must be very, very careful, particularly looking online where we hear these success stories. And of course, you're hearing the story from the person who had the treatment successfully. You're not hearing the story from possibly the vast majority of people who had this treatment unsuccessfully. That the treatment failed them, or it just wasn't a real treatment. Of course, thinking about the kind of nonsense people write in the various online groups for cancer patients. You'll hear people getting results from drinking a certain type of tea, and of course, what you don't hear is that maybe that tea is bought by hundreds of thousands of desperate people, and a handful seem to get a good result, possibly just because of other treatments that they had completely unconnected with the tea. So survivor bias is very, very serious, and we need to guard against it. So you need to always be looking for counterexamples, always thinking, am I being misled by what I see deliberately, or just kind of with no malice intended? Are people making a connection between things that are not connected at all? This person is drinking a green smoothie every day, and 6 months later they're cancer free. Well, maybe the vast majority of people drinking exactly the same green smoothie got no result from it. Possibly because drinking a green smoothie probably doesn't have any effect on the cancer. This kind of thing, we need to think about how we are thinking. We need to look at our decision process. It's one reason why you should get in the habit of thinking on paper, right? Write stuff out, look at the evidence on paper, not on your phone, not sitting there scrolling through loads of messages or posts on your Facebook app or whatever, but get the evidence, attack the evidence from every possible angle to try and work out what's true, what's not true, what's the most likely course of action that is going to give you a good result, what's the risk with any course of action you're looking at. If the risk is very low, some things may be worth doing even if you think there's a lot of bias involved in the results you're reading. But those are case-by-case decisions you have to make, but the key thing is to be aware of this bias. So I hope that gives you some idea of survivor bias, and if you have any questions, please post a comment and I will reply and possibly make a video in answer to your question.